My dear friends, our gospel text is from Mark chapter 1 from verse 40 to 45. And it is about the cleansing of the leper. Our theme is the ministry to the leper. Lepers before and at the time of Jesus could not join a community either for a social or religious event. This means that they were considered to be social and religious outcasts. Just imagine how it feels like when a human being cannot join his family or friends for any social event, and in addition cannot even go into the temple to find solace. Alone, they say, is misery. I remember the experience of a friend who tested positive with COVID. After 2 weeks of isolation, he became fed up. He could not cope with his inability to join family or friends. We can therefore appreciate the sad situation of this leper. But even though a social and a religious outcast, the ministry of Jesus did not leave him out. From the ministry of Jesus to this leper, we wish to consider 4 ways we can imitate our blessed Lord when we also encounter people whose conditions may make them feel like lepers. 1. A leper came to Jesus and kneeling down begged him and said, "If you wish, you can make me clean." Moved with pity, Jesus stretched out his hand, touched him and said to him, "I do will it, be made clean." Mark chapter 1, verse 40 to 41. The point here is that though a leper, he did not give in to despair. Seeing Jesus was an opportunity to be cured, he grabbed the opportunity by going to Jesus despite what people might say. The text says, and I quote, Jesus touched him, unquote. By this gesture of compassion and sensitivity, we are all invited to imitate our blessed Lord. The lepers of our time may be anyone who is ostracized. It may be anyone who feels discriminated against, or anyone who is stereotyped. How about that person who is left out of the group? The feeling of loneliness can kill. Just imagine living in this world without a friend. So, at the sight of the lepers of today, like Jesus, we too must be moved to compassion and touch them. 2. Then Jesus said to him, "See that you tell no one anything." Mark chapter 1, verse 44a. Jesus, after cleansing him, warned him against publicity. We may wonder why Jesus, after extending such a gesture of compassion, will want that the leper keep it to himself. The issue that Jesus is perhaps avoiding is cheap popularity. He does not want people to follow him just because he heals the sick. What is more important is that people come to the knowledge of the true God and how he is revealed through him. For us as his disciples, it is crucial that we learn from the Master. We live in a world that whatever little good we do, we wish that everyone knows about it or hears about it. There are times that our acts of kindness or service, when it's not acknowledged, we feel very hurt and angry. There are times that we even stop the good works we're doing. May we be reminded of the words of our blessed Lord when he said, and I quote, "When you give alms, do not let your left hand know what your right hand is doing, so that your alms giving may be in secret. And your Father who sees in secret will repay you." Matthew chapter 6, verse 3. 3. The man went away and began to publicize the whole matter. He spread the report abroad so that it was impossible for Jesus to enter a town openly. Mark chapter 1, verse 45. What should strike us is the lesson of paradox. Here was this leper who couldn't move around freely while Jesus, on the other hand, moved around freely. But after Jesus cured him, the tables turned. The leper was now able to move freely, spreading the news. And Jesus' movement, as the text says, was restricted. The cured leper became the evangelist of the good news. And anyone who heard the good news went in search of Jesus. In fact, the text confirms it when it says that people kept coming to Jesus from everywhere. And it was on the account of the good news spread by the cured leper. May our acts of compassion lead people to Jesus, and may it free people from bondage to freedom, so that they can go all out telling the good news of Christ. 4. But go, show yourself to the priest, and offer for your cleansing what Moses prescribed. That will be proof for them. Mark chapter 1, verse 44b. It is important to point out that Jesus, though God, was still law-abiding. We would have expected that since Jesus had cured him, the leper would just leave and go home. But rather, Jesus enjoined him to follow the prescription of Moses. Dear friends, no matter how exalted we become, it's always important that we remain law-abiding. This will be the proof of the authenticity of faith. To conclude, the ministry of Jesus to the leper invites us, the followers of Jesus, to concrete and practical tasks. It behoves us to recognize the marginalized in society, the victims of injustice, the people discriminated against, the stereotyped, and begin to actively minister to them. This is the only way that lepers of our days will experience cleansing. May God bless you.